Yo, what's good, peeps? Here's a little video that's going to show you how to use Korg Gadget 2 inside Beatmaker 3. First thing we're going to do is open up Korg Gadget. And we're doing this just to prevent unintentional crashes, because sometimes when you open up Beatmaker 3 first as opposed to Korg Gadget, it crashes. So what I've seen thus far at this point in time, at least, is that if I open up Korg Gadget initially, then I have less of a chance of it crashing or closing up on me unintentionally. So second, I'm going to pick a few instruments to load, to play with inside of Beatmaker 3. So we have those instruments selected. Next thing we're going to do is go up to this gear icon up top, choose MIDI input, advanced, then come down here to your instruments. Let's enlarge it, and you're going to see that it says all under the solo word, which that is an indication of our MIDI. So what we're going to do down there is click on the y'all button, change our source to virtual port, change our channel to channel 1 for the first instrument. We're going to do the same thing to each instrument. So for the second instrument, we're going to go to all ends, change it to virtual port, and then for this instrument, we're going to choose channel 2. So for each instrument, we're going to assign it to a different channel. Third instrument, we're going to again go to virtual port, assign it to channel 3. And the fourth instrument, we're going to do the same thing. Virtual port, channel 4. Now, next, we're going to go to Beatmaker 3. We're going to install Gadget into our plugin area. Load it. Now for our first instrument, A1, or whatever instrument you assign it to, that's going to be pretty much an indication of our audio in and out. We're going to choose 4 other banks to assign to the actual instruments. The reason why we have a bank assigned to just the audio is because that Korg Gadget only has main in and out, so you can't, unfortunately, route each instrument to its own separate audio channel. You can with MIDI. You can assign it to a different MIDI channel, but you can't assign it to a different audio channel because everything goes out of one main in and out. So once we have that gadget copied into our first bank for our audio in and out, we're going to go to the squiggly line, the waveform, and we're going to go to where it says gadget. We're going to hit copy. And now we're going to paste that instance of gadget to each bank. The first bank, hit paste. Second bank, paste. Third bank, paste. Fourth bank, paste. Now let's go back to our first bank. We're going to assign that to MIDI setup, and then we're going to go to MIDI output, assign that to gadget, go to channel 1, and then we're going to go to our keys and go to octave 1 or C1, and now it's triggering that corresponding instrument inside gadget. For our second instrument, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to the 3 dots, go to MIDI setup, MIDI port, gadget, channel 2. Go back to the pads. You can't hear anything because it's on C3, and that's a 16 pad instrument. So we go to C1. And there you have the sounds triggering that instrument. Go to our third instrument, go to MIDI setup, MIDI port, gadget, assigned it to channel 3. Now this, I think, has more than 16 pads, so we should be able to hear it on the higher frequency. I guess not, maybe not. And sometimes we'll run into that where the sound will cut out on certain instruments. If that happens, just go back to Korg Gadget. And play with the instruments. We're still not getting any sound, ironically. So let's go to MIDI setup and see if it dropped it. No, it's still assigned. Let's see. Well, let's just change it to a different instrument. Let's see if it works with a different instrument. Go to function. We'll just change it to a different instrument. Let's see, what instrument do we want to change it to? Let's change it to Vancouver. Let's see if it works. All right, it works. Something wrong with that instrument. I don't know. Maybe I'm not hitting hard enough. Go to keys. We haven't pasted yet, so it's pasted, but we have to do our MIDI setup. MIDI output, gadget, channel 4 for that instrument. Let's see. And there you have it. We have all our channels assigned. Now, something that I want to point out is I also, you can only mute the sound, the complete sound in channel 1. But what I have mine set up to is when I mute each instrument, I can mute the MIDI. So even though the MIDI's being triggered, you won't get any sound. And I'll point out the reason why. So in order to get each sound in its own individual slot in Korg Gadget, at least to start off, I record the first whatever instrument I want to record first. I arm the audio track, and then I go to I/O down here. I select internal, and I point to the instrument that I want to hear the sound from. I point to gadget actually, and I'm going to point the gadget on all these inputs. That way I can assign external effects onto gadget through the audio channel. So what I do for the first instrument, which is drums, you can see that audio is going to just be coming out of that first gadget. So let's record a quick loop in Beatmaker 3 for bars. Let's get note repeat. Let's go. now that we have all our instruments recorded in MIDI, this is how it looks. Now this is how it would look typically if we recorded everything on the same audio track coming directly out of Gadget. And this is how it would sound. Let's mute these MIDI tracks right here and just solo that one. Which is fine if you want all the audio on one track. But say you want to have stems for each track. What you would do is unmute this. This is assigned to Gadget, mind you. All these audio tracks are assigned to Gadget, listening to the initial instance of Gadget. The way Beatmaker 3 is set up initially is it mutes out the audio track. It'll say mute audio only, and that's for the mixer section. But you can also have the option of muting out audio and MIDI, which means if you have a MIDI device that's triggering audio, you can use that to isolate that one track. So let's just say I had it on audio, MIDI mute audio only, and I recorded something. And even though I'll mute everything but the drums, you'll still have all those tracks playing and the sound coming through. So when you change your settings to mute audio and MIDI, and I have that only the drums playing this time around, when I get ready to record, you should only hear the drums. And so I'll go to audio 2, which is going to be the second instrument, and I'm only going to allow bank C1 to come through. Now this audio track ain't gonna come through on this audio 2 or any other audio track because it's only listening to Gadget, the initial instance of Gadget. So basically what we're doing is muting out each individual instrument. So on audio 2, we're just gonna record bank C1. I have it armed. I hit record. And there you have it. Now, it's going to do the same thing on audio 3. It's still listening to the first instance of Gadget, but it's only going to listen to the one track, MIDI track that's unmuted. So let's record. Now, mind you, these two are not armed and they're not silent, so you're going to be able to hear audio coming out of the audio track. But audio 3 won't hear the audio coming from the other audio tracks. Now let's solo that one and see how it sounds. Now let's get that last stem. Solo that one so you can hear that it's actually just that stem. Now what's cool about that is you now have the option to add external audio effects to your stems. So let's just say, let's add a little dirt on that. Let's play that audio. So yeah, basically that's a quick little tutorial on how to use Korg Gadget within Beatmaker 3. I'm still working out the kinks a little bit, but also I want to show you one more thing too, which is this is just one method of getting stems from Korg Gadget into Beatmaker 3. Now with these instruments up here, these are actually MIDI tracks that are triggering the gadgets or the information within Korg. So say I wanted to record into Korg using these instrument tracks. I would just hit play pretty much. Now if we go to Korg Gadget, you'll see the instruments being triggered. Say I wanted it to record. Let's see. Let's record a scene. Now let's go to Korg Gadget. We'll have all those instruments recorded all at the same time. So another method for getting sound out of Korg Gadget into Beatmaker 3 is, if you wanted to get each individual stem, what I do is I export and I go to iTunes. You can go to Dropbox if you want to, but all the other and Ableton Live, but all the other methods only allow one stem at a time or the master track. But with iTunes or Dropbox, you're able to get all tracks, all the stems individually, or the master track. And same thing with iTunes. So what I do is, the name of this track is Untitled Link. I say all tracks. And now it's going to be in my file folder. And I go to, on my iPad, go to Gadget 2. And there you have all the stems. Select them, and then you can pretty much import them into your Beatmaker 3. And to do that, you would go, let's add another track here. To do that, you would go over to your sampler, and then it has files down here. Go to, on my iPad, go to Gadget, select, open, and now it's in your import directory. And your import directory is right here in your folder. And let's see, where's Cloud Link at? There's our stems right there. And that's a different method of getting stems into Beatmaker 3. Oh well, let me actually show you how to get it into Beatmaker 3 real quick. If you wanted to bring those stems into Beatmaker 3, just pretty much just click on them. Let's see, click on them. It's a little tricky sometimes. And just drag it in there. Well, let's add a track, audio track. Let's solo those two. So it's the same audio tracks that we recorded earlier. It's just a different copy. But yeah, that's another method. So anyway, I hope this helped you. I know it's a little bit long-winded, but it's a lot of detail to go into it. If you have any questions, hit me up. And please subscribe. I am trying to get my subscriber count up, and I do have a lot more tutorials I do have coming down the pipeline. So if you want to learn more, just sub. Anyway, thanks, and holla at your boy. Peace out.